Okay, Meaghan, welcome to the program. Just in case you're wondering why we looked like this, yes, we are getting ready for a show.
Also, it's Saturday night.
Only, you do this on Saturday night?
Maybe.
How did you get into theater?
Well, I started out in ballet when I was 6.
Uh-huh.
I have a funny story about that. Maybe I shouldn't tell you.
No, come on. What's up?
Well, I started out because my aunt took me to see the Nutcracker.
Uh-huh.
And apparently I danced all down the sidewalk afterwards. I was so enthralled.
Mm-hmm.
And so my parents put me in a community center ballet class, and I promptly peed on the floor.
Ooh, you're so
Which
excited?
would be funny if I was 3, but I was 6. No, I didn't know you were allowed to go to the bathroom.
You know what? In France, it seems like there are adults that go to the bathroom on the Seine, you know?
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
well, I don't feel so bad. I guess it's classy then.
You know, you're going down the river, and you say, oh, this is so nice. Why is that guy, urinating on the wall?
Well, if the French do it.
It must be okay.
It must be okay.
So, that got you hooked.
Well, yeah, that got me hooked into dance, and then I started singing in choir, and then I started taking voice lessons in grade 10. And then I got into St. Albert Children's Theatre. We lived in St. Albert, Alberta.
Okay.
When I was a teenager, and so I did a bunch of shows with them, and that's really what got me hooked on theater.
Wow. So you actually got started with voice late. I mean, relatively late. I mean, not a real small kid, but later on.
Yeah, just school choir when I was younger, but then I don't know why I decided to take voice. Oh, I decided to take voice lessons because I was in St. Albert Children's Theatre.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you really got into dance first.
Yeah.
All kinds of dance? Any particular dance that you liked? Or?
Well, I only took ballet, and then my family couldn't really afford lessons for me, so I got a job at Arby's when I was 14 to support my ballet habit.
Uh-huh. Well, that's dedication,
Yes.
Absolutely. What did you do in college?
I went to Grant MacEwan. That's a college in Edmonton, Alberta, for theater arts, which is the musical theater program.
Right.
And then I went and did a Bachelor of Music and Voice. And then I did a law degree. A
law degree?
I know.
Why? Why law? That's a kind of interesting transition, music to law.
I kind of felt like I needed an employable skill.
Well, what, you didn't think voice was employable?
There's a lot of sopranos.
Well,
a lot.
Well, it's true in the arts, right? It is difficult to make a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And I wasn't sure that I wanted to spend 10 years waitering.
Right.
So anyways, I did that, and then I actually practiced law for several years until I couldn't stand it anymore.
So what specialty were you in?
Family law.
Family law? Why family law?
I don't know. I was never really interested in business, which is terrible because what I didn't realize, because I didn't know any lawyers, is that law is a business. You have to be, if you're not a good business person, you can't be a lawyer. Actually,
that's true for doctors. It's true for almost everything.
Right.
Doctors?
Right. Where you have to run your own practice, you have to be a good business person. And I'm just not a mercenary.
but it's true, even for doctors, right? They go, usually, not always, sometimes they go in for the money, sometimes they go in to help people.
But on some
business
level,
side of it,
you have to care about the bottom
if you don't care about the
line,
business... my brother-in-law loses $100,000 a year for bills he has to write off as a doctor.
Right.
And it was sad, but it's a reality. So you've done theater in different places, obviously in the U.S. as well. Is there anything particularly different about Canadian theater versus U.S. theater? Or is it the audience differences, the same?
I think there's more community theater opportunities here. When I was living in Calgary, I did a show with Calgary Opera, so that's quite a bit different than what we're doing here. But really, the last time I was in musical theater was when I was doing my college program, and before that in children's theater. So it's been a long time. Right. In the interim, I sang in a lot of choirs and stuff, and I didn't realize until I went back to like a fully staged, with all the layers, the costumes, the character, and all that. How much I really prefer that, because when you're singing in a choir, I find it more nerve-wracking because there's nothing to hide behind, and there's not as much to focus on. Yeah, isn't that funny?
No, I've been there, done that. I know what you're talking about.
Or if I have to sing a solo in a choir, it's all about my voice and what I sound like.
Right.
And so that's all you're focusing on, and so you're nervous, and then you get all tight. It works against you.
Yeah. Yes.
But I just find that in theater, when I have a character to focus on and, stage action and blocking and all that, for some reason, I just feel more comfortable.
How did you get into opera?
Well, I went to U of A U of Alberta for my Bachelor of Music in Voice, and they sort of frowned on musical theater there.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's too lowbrow, huh?
I guess. I guess so. And so I did all
too commercial.
I did all classical. And actually, I did an audition for a scholarship once, and the panel said, somebody on the panel said, you could sing classical music, and I was like, okay. I didn't even think to say, why did you say that?
Always at a certain
what do you
tone.
mean? Or I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, you could do, classical
You're useless in the chorus.
You could do classical.
Yeah. Anyhow, yeah.
No, you have a beautiful voice. I mean, it's incredible. Yeah, you should do more musical theater.
I would like to.
It's usually comedy, but not always.
Yeah.
It's again, it's what sells. Again, expect to, if we don't make money, even though we're nonprofit, we're not in business.
That's right. That's true.
Unfortunate, but true, right?
We're all terrible business people.
Yes.
Trying to make money.
What do you do when you're not on the stage?
I'm always on stage. No, true. I have 3 kids and a husband, and I teach community music 1 day a week.
Oh, okay. Is that at Caleb's studio? Yes. Or a different one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Caleb's my boss. And I really enjoy teaching community music. I teach sign and sing in our time. So sign and sing is babies mostly, and our time is 18 months to 3 years. I do a little bit of assistant teaching at Bonnie's. I'm on the sub list there, so I hope to be able to do more of that too, because I like that too.
Sure.
I really love ballet technique. I don't love performing ballet. I just love something about, I don't know, the punishment of doing the technique properly.
Yeah, I mean, especially now, but it's true for many, many years, but especially now that schools are under such pressures. What is it that you think that we can teach our kids? I mean, in terms of the value of the arts education, whether it's ballet, music, we need. I mean, I think we do need it. We don't realize it, so we're going to stick to the basics, right? Reading, writing, arithmetic. Nothing against that.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's so much of the brain. We tend to think, a lot of times we think of intelligence as being very unidimensional, and there's multiple facets to that. Of course, music is one of those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the greatest civilizations on Earth are, they're not just subsistence civilizations. They've got the arts.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason for that. It's life enriching. It's, it builds community.
Yes.
It's important for so many reasons. Yeah.
What about your kids? Do they enjoy music theater or? Yeah,
they do. In fact, I taught musical theater in Calgary before we moved here, and my daughter was in my class, and she was very keen. So yeah, I'm surprised at, this is my middle child, my 10-year-old. I'm surprised at how much she likes singing and dancing and all that stuff. Because I never really, I don't know, I just didn't expect her. I don't know, whatever.
You don't push it? You don't go around?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's important, and I've always put them in dance, and my son is in dance too. All 3 of my kids are in dance. Because I think it's important. I think it's really good for, physical development.
Absolutely.
Yes. Muscle memory and everything. Fitness. But, I put them in it thinking, this is sort of a placeholder for them until they figure out what they really want to do. I thought for sure my son would want to play hockey or something.
Right.
And he's a really good dancer.
Well, that's great.
So, yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah, and my middle daughter sings in, she does like 7 hours of choir a week. And is never tired of it.
Really?
It's shocking. Yeah.
And so do you go around singing so she kind of gets that from mom?
Well, they see me practicing, so they know, I try to practice in front of them sometimes so that they realize that, you don't just...
Right.
It's not just something you have or can do. You actually have to work at it. So, and yeah, we just make sure that they're in a some sort of music lesson, like my daughter does. The older one does violin as well, and the middle one does piano, in addition to all her choir.
Right.
And my son's playing guitar, so
right.
A music and a physical activity, and it turns out that it's dance.
Right.
And that's my other job is chauffeur.
Oh, absolutely.
All of that requires driving.
It's Houston. You're going to drive, everywhere. Do you find that your kids know your stuff before you do?
Yes. Avery was singing a lot of numbers from this show.
Even for, yeah.
Yeah. How do you
They do it.
They're just little sponges.
They are sponges, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They know our lines before we do. They know our music. They tell us when we've got it wrong. No, right. That's not what you're supposed to do. Thanks a lot. Shut up.
Yeah.
What things have you done in theater that you'd like to do?
What things haven't I done? I would like to do more. Well, I was going to say I'd like to do more opera, but yeah, I would like to do more opera course. It's really fun. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would ever want to be a main role in opera. I find that too.
Why not?
It's scary, man. That music is scary and hard. Like, you can't just character it up.
No,
you can't. And there's always discriminating ears out there. And it's paralysis by analysis. So I'd rather be in the chorus for opera, but I would like to do more lead roles in musicals.
Yes.
If I can.
Yeah. What do you do? Like I said, we talked about the things, the time off. Do you enjoy traveling places?
My husband loves to travel. I'm a bit of a baby about traveling. I'm a homebody.
Okay.
So yeah, but we do travel.
So he likes to travel, and you're like,
I know I sound like such a idiot. Like, he wants to go to Hawaii in June, and I'm like, oh, really?
You're playing the obstacle here. Come on.
It's ridiculous. I realize that. So yes, I travel. I will travel, and gratefully, I will travel. Yeah. I did my favorite trip actually. Before we moved from Calgary, I went on a choir tour. We went to France.
Wow.
And I really loved that. Yeah.
So how did you get to do that?
Well, there was a lot of asking grandparents to babysit. And,
well, yes.
Yeah.
What about the invite? It's like,
Well, I was singing. I sang with Spiritus Chamber Choir in Calgary, and they got invited to a competition in where were we? Nuit Saint Georges. I can't remember the name of the competition to save my life, but we did not too bad. It was the choir's first competition.
Right.
International competition.
So did you have to raise funds so you could go, or
yeah, there was some fundraising, and we each paid, I forget how much, a certain amount for our own trip. But yeah, it ended up being quite affordable. I think they got some sort of lottery grant or something. Right.
So you speak French, right?
A little bit.
Not
very well.
Except my uncle used to be a French professor at.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, not Calgary. I'm sorry. Not University of Edmonton. Oh my goodness, they live in Red Deer. Okay. But I guess probably he was just of Calgary. Yeah. But he lived in Red Deer for long. He's retired now.
Oh, no kidding.
And so we used to go up there sometimes. I still go up on business trips every now and then to go to Calgary because I've got cousins up there. And it is different. Like I said, I like it. Cowboys are the same everywhere in the world. They may have a different accent, but they have the same attitude.
Yeah, they're all cowboys.
So you've been to the Stampede, right?
No.
No? Well, you know what? I've never been. All the times I've been, I've never been. Oh, you've been? No, I've never been. Like, I've never been I've been here. I've never been to the rodeo. Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm not really into rodeos.
Oh, dear. All right, I'll ask you a question we've been asking everyone. If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
Well, I have to tell you a story about my grandmother.
Uh-oh.
My dear grandmother passed away, and she died of cancer, and she was in the hospital, and my family's Catholic, and so the priest came to give last rites, and he was talking by the bedside about her going to the pearly gates and meeting Peter at the pearly gates, and she interrupted, and she said, "Will there be Molly Maid?"
What?
You don't have Molly Maid here. It's just
we do.
Actually, we do. Really? Yeah, it's a maid service.
No,
that's
we have
all
it
she
here.
cared about.
Do they have Molly Maid? Where did she
Will
get
there
that?
be Molly Maid?
Where did she get
I
that?
don't know. It was funny though.
Did she live overseas?
No, she lived in Canada.
Well, yeah.
In Ontario.
Well, it was kind of odd. I mean, no, we have Molly Maid here. I see the cars around sometime. But usually people that are used to maid service live overseas because it's expected. You know, if you live in Indonesia, you probably have 10
Well, that's
servants.
the thing. That's the funny thing. My grandma never had Molly Maid in her life.
But she wasn't going to do any work cleaning and of stuff.
Exactly. I'm only going there if there's Molly Maid.
Okay, and I'm out of here.
If not, it's just like any other hell. That's what she was saying.
So is that what you're going to ask?
Yeah. If there's no maid service, no deal.
I'm out. Meaghan, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.